Just go back and watch the video of Bradley Beal on the bench, just shaking his head and his hands are fidgety and all of that stuff. That is the sign of someone, Max and Molly, who's about to lose it.
That says it all right there. Just absolutely spent.
They can't take it anymore, okay?
Because Bradley, yeah, it's that time, bro. It's that time. Between these back-to-back games, I think it's that time, bro. If you walk into the office right now and there's not a single rational NBA fan, they'll be upset with you requesting a trade.
Bradley Beal just flat out uninterested to be on that court with that team.
You've done everything for the team, bro.
Tommy Shepard, Scott Brooks, you got to get Bradley Beal up out of there.
The NBA community is toxic. When I say this, I'm not only talking about NBA YouTubers, I'm not only talking about the NBA mainstream media, I'm not only talking about the NBA fans, I'm talking about all of them. Us. You, me, your favorite NBA YouTuber, your favorite entertaining yet clickbaity NBA personality. I'm talking about us as a collective. Every single person that consumes NBA content one way or another. This toxicity often goes overlooked, and honestly, I haven't realized it until recently, with the Bradley Beal trade speculation, and I've seen enough of it. This toxicity within the NBA community that I refer to mainly arises whenever there's a disgruntled star or superstar caliber player. When a player hasn't reached any playoff success in numerous years with the team that drafted him, when there's miscommunication and distrust between the organization and the franchise player, or when a team actually finds a lot of success, yet can't get over the hump and the star player wants out. When an actual star player wants out of a team, the main toxicity comes from the fan base of the respective team. Often, they'll take to Twitter and Instagram to question the player's loyalty and even call him a snake, or diminish/forget about the achievements of the team on the back of the star player that the fan base celebrated in years past. But there's another type of toxicity that arises in a similar yet altered type of situation, and it's this. Whenever there's a star or superstar caliber player that we, the NBA community, want to be disgruntled. What do I mean by this? A young player has been ascending into stardom at a rapid rate with little team success, so quote-unquote rumors and reports from outside sources speculate that the player wants out and will soon demand a trade. And the NBA community eats this up. NBA fans outside of the player's team's fan base start clamoring that the young player wants out and devise hilarious and unrealistic trade packages to land that star player on their team. NBA YouTubers make videos about trade packages revolving around the young star player and say that the young player should demand a trade. The mainstream media reacts to the quote-unquote reports from their sources and end up boldly stating that the player wants out as well, and name several teams that should trade for the player, without taking into account the things that are required to make a trade happen. Matching salaries, the Stepien rule, adequate trade value in return, etc. And mind you, 99% of the time, all this speculation from the NBA community occurs while the player himself hasn't even said that he wants out of the team. If you didn't guess it already, I was talking about Devin Booker. Here's another example of similar toxicity. A homegrown talent has firmly asserted himself as a star player for multiple years. After flatlining for a bit, he takes another step and emerges as an all-star/budding star. After flatlining for a bit, he takes another step and emerges as an all-star/budding superstar, and is now the franchise player of your favorite team. This player has been playing at another level, the best of his career, but the team as a whole isn't currently in position to win at a high level. Game in and game out, the player puts up an insane stat line, but the wins don't correlate. Even though the player is not happy whatsoever with the team's play, he clearly indicates that he wants to remain on his current team. Yet, how does the NBA community respond? They say the team should trade the player. Despite all of what the player said about remaining with the team, being loyal and committed, the NBA community ignores it all and says the franchise should trade the player, and the player should even demand a trade. And if you didn't guess this one already, I'm talking about Bradley Beal. And if you didn't assume this yet, then here's my opinion. I don't think the Wizards should trade Bradley Beal. An unpopular opinion, I know, but hear me out before you click off. Beal is averaging 33 points per game and is the league's leading scorer. Scorers like that don't grow on trees. He may not be a great defender, but it's 100% possible to build a winning team around a subpar defender who's one of the league's best scorers. If the front office can surround him with multi-positional defenders and a consistent rim protector, and the coaching staff can make defense more of an emphasis and get the team to buy in, the Wizards could definitely be a playoff team built around Bradley Beal. Beal's only 27 years old. He's just hitting his prime over these past 2 seasons. It's not like he's a star player who only has 3 more years in his prime. In that type of situation, you don't have the luxury of continually improving over multiple seasons, but with Beal you do, because he's relatively young. Also, there's no guarantee that you'll get a player at the caliber of Beal in a return in a trade. Sure, you'll probably get numerous lottery picks or even some actual young prospects in the NBA currently, but it's not 100% certain that their potential will be realized. And this right here is the biggest reason to keep Bradley Beal. He wants to stay in Washington, and he's said it numerous times. Throughout the entirety of last season, which was dreadful, he stood by the fact that he wanted to stay in Washington. Through the off-season of 2020, he repeated the same sentiments, and this year, with the Wizards being extremely disappointing after acquiring Russell Westbrook, Beal himself taking another step in his development, Beal constantly reaffirms that he wants to stay in the nation's capital with the Wizards. This is extremely rare. We've seen in the past players in situations similar to Beal demand a trade, the team achieving little success with the player entering the midst of their prime. Ultimately, a win-now contender trades for him. Even a player in the midst of their prime who's actually seen a lot of team success relative to the entire league, maybe not a championship per se, but still a lot of team success, once that team is perceived to have hit their ceiling, many times that player wants out and is dealt to a win-now contender. But Beal, a player who has reached his highest level of stardom, who's playing at a much higher level than the rest of his team, who game in and game out looks visibly frustrated with the product that hits the floor, still wants to stay on his team that drafted him. This type of loyalty doesn't grow on trees, and as a franchise, Washington is obligated to surround Beal with either a better supporting cast or a more competent coaching staff that can put some marks in the win column. Bradley Beal has repeatedly said that he wants to remain a Washington Wizard, but the NBA community continues to ignore that. The onus is on the Wizards front office to pull the right strings to build a winner around Beal, but the NBA community wants them to trade him. Why? Why is it that we'd prefer to see a team give up and succumb to the basement of irrelevance in the league instead of expecting the team to actively try and improve around their star player? Why is it that NBA YouTubers make videos about different trades of the star player instead of different trades that actually make sense that would make the team better while retaining their star player? Why is it that the mainstream media continues to pester about if the star player wants out of the team yet, instead of looking at traditional statistics, advanced analytics, and the eye test to report on exactly why the team is underperforming and areas that they can improve on, internally or via an outside transaction?
He's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
On the part of NBA YouTubers and mainstream media, star player trade speculation / videos are what drive clicks and numbers. And in a world that values the more numbers you have,
Oh yeah, of course. Here, let me do this TikTok really quick. Yeah, I'll get out of it.
this type of behavior is encouraged. We live in the clickbait era, and that's not changing anytime soon. As for the day-to-day fans that consume NBA content, I guess as a whole, we're incredibly bored, and things like a team trading away their star player are more exciting than a team making a trade for a multi-positional 3-and-D role player. To conclude, I'll restate my opinion. The Wizards should not trade away Bradley Beal. He is an elite enough player that you can build a winning team around, so the pressure is on the organization to do so. And he's only 27 years old, so they have a couple years to do it. Also, Beal has stated time in and time out that he wants to stay in Washington, despite the constant disappointment. A player with such a combination of talent, loyalty, and patience doesn't come around too often, and I think throwing that away would be incredibly short-sighted. Dear Washington Wizards, don't trade away Bradley Beal.